Oh, we're on. Good evening, everyone out there in YouTube land. Thanks for joining us tonight. Introducing peaceful protester Wade Kelley.
Thank you, Ethan Hyatt. Hello, and welcome to my TV show on the YouTube network with a potential audience of over 2 billion people.
That's right, 2 billion people.
Coming to you live from the 3rd Street Promenade in Santa Monica, where I am peacefully protesting and advocating for the homeless here in Santa Monica, and in Los Angeles County, and in California, and the whole wide world if we could do something about it. But we better start somewhere, so we might as well start right here in this wealthy city of Santa Monica.
Start right here in Santa Monica.
That's right. That has been criminalizing homelessness for years now and making it harder and harder for poor people to survive while they're not building enough affordable housing, while they're not even trying to build affordable housing here in Santa Monica. Let me move this a little bit. Why is that going off so much? All right, hopefully that's a little better. That's right, so we have to start right where we are. Wherever you are, stand up for human rights. Stand up for the rights of human beings to be able to exist, to be able to thrive and survive in this richest, most powerful country in the whole wide world. There's no reason for poor people to be sleeping in the streets while rich people are having space races. We can do better than that. And we need to tell our leaders, our public servants, you have to do a better job. You have to stand up for human rights right here in California, right here in Santa Monica. That's why here in California, we need to get behind the Billionaire Tax Act of 2026. Right here in California, a lot of people say, well, you can't raise taxes on the rich because Trump's in power. Well, we can right here in California. We can all get behind the Billionaire Tax Act of 2026 and make sure that the billionaires of California pay a 5% wealth tax that will go to health care and education and food programs right here in California. We can show that progressive government can make a difference in people's lives. We don't have to wait for the federal government to become democratic. We don't have to wait for some good progressive to get into the White House. We can do it right here in California. We need to lead the way in California. We need to show that progressive government can make a difference in people's lives. You doing all right, David? Yeah. Okay, good. Good to see you guys. Thank you, David, for your help. So we need to stand up for the rights of these homeless human beings and the poor right here in California. We can make a difference. We can raise the taxes on the billionaires here. If they don't want to pay the taxes here in California, if they want to move to another state like Elon Musk and take advantage of the poor people over in Texas or some other state, let them go. We don't want those kind of billionaires living here in California. We don't want the kind of billionaires who don't believe that they should pay their fair share. We don't want the kind of billionaires here who think they can use their rich people's toys to take more and more of the jobs away from poor people and then push the poor people out into the streets while they're making a nice profit using their artificial intelligentsia and their robots. We got the rich people's toys making rich people money while the poor girls and boys live in the streets. It ain't funny how they're raising all the rents and the governments are finding ways to funnel all the money to be spent on rich people's toys, making rich people money while the poor girls and boys live in the streets. It ain't funny how they're raising all the rents, and the governments are finding ways to funnel all the money to be spent on rich people and rich people's toys. On the rich people and rich people's toys. That's right. All over the city of Santa Monica, there are rich people's toys littering the streets. We've got scooters and bicycles. We've got little cocoa robots delivering food to people, sitting around and loitering the streets. We've got every kind of scooter and electronic everything on our streets. We have these advertising displays here on the promenade and around Santa Monica. All these rich people's toys making rich people money while the poor people are sleeping in the streets. We can do better than that, especially right here in California. We need to get behind the Billionaire Tax Act of 2026. I say the Billionaire Tax Act of 2026. Let's try that again. Billionaire Tax Act of 2026 in California. That's right. Instead of just sitting by and saying, well, the rich people are going to make more money because they make these robots and toys, and they're going to take more jobs, and there's nothing we can do about it. Well, there is. We can raise taxes on the rich right here in California and make sure that we're lifting people out of poverty, making sure that everybody can have the basics in this fourth largest economy of the whole wide world. That's right, California, we're the fourth largest economy of the whole wide world. We don't have to wait for the federal government to raise taxes on the rich. We can do it right here in California and make sure that poor people can have the basics. So get behind the Billionaire Tax Act. Get behind the Billionaire Tax Act of 2026. California Billionaire Tax Act of 2026. That's right, here in California. We need to tell all of our candidates for governor, hey, if you want our vote, you better get behind the Billionaire Tax Act of 2026. I don't care how progressive you think you are. If you can't get behind the Billionaire Tax Act of 2026 and you're running for governor of California, you won't get our vote. So we need to make sure that they understand that loud and clear. And tomorrow is a debate for a gubernatorial debate tomorrow for all the candidates running for governor. I hope you watch it. I hope we all get involved. And I hope we tell those candidates running for governor here in California, if you don't get behind the Billionaire Tax Act of 2026, I can't vote for you, because there are too many rich people doing too well while too many poor people are sleeping in the streets. We can do much better than that. We got the rich people's toys making rich people money while the poor girls and boys live in the streets. It ain't funny how they're raising all the rents, and the governments are finding ways to funnel all the money to be spent on rich people's toys making rich people money while the poor girls and boys live in the streets. It ain't funny how they're raising all the rents, and the governments are finding ways to funnel all the money to be spent on rich people and rich people's toys. On the rich people and rich people's toys. On the rich people and rich people's toys. That's right. Thank you. Thank you, Jesse. That's right. The rich people are doing just fine in this country. They're not having no problems at all. Every week we're breaking records on Wall Street. They're making money hand over fist, and more jobs are being lost to their rich people's toys, to the intelligentsia, the artificial intelligentsia and the robots. We need to make sure that human beings can survive in this new technological era, when more and more of the jobs are going to be going to more and more of the robots and artificial intelligence. And we're spending more and more money, spending more and more energy to keep these robots and artificial intelligence. Oh, did you hear yesterday they had some robots run in which marathon? Some marathon in this country. Was it the Boston Marathon? No. One of the marathons, New York or Boston, something like that. They had robots running, and the robots broke the record by 30 minutes. Well, come on, they're robots. If you have a running robot, I hope it's going to be able to run faster than human beings. I mean, we have cars that can run faster than human beings. So we understand that. But I'm happy that a few of the robots fell over on their side while they were running. Then they couldn't get back up, I guess, some of them. I have no problem with technology, as long as the technology is working to make human beings' lives easier. As long as the technology is going to work to make sure that every human being in the United States of America can have a good, decent place to live, food to eat, health care, and a good public education. If we can do those things with the new technology, that's fantastic. But we're going to have to make some changes, aren't we? We're going to have to make sure that people have a basic income or some form of income while we're giving all the jobs to the robots and artificial intelligence. And we need to make sure that everybody can have a decent place to live. Housing is a human right. 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 That's right, Santa Monica, you need to build some affordable housing. Santa Monica is criminalizing homelessness, along with many other cities around the country. But Santa Monica, we need to do better. We need to show that there is a progressive way to deal with these problems, a way to help lift people out of poverty. Instead of 72% of all your arrests last year being of homeless human beings. That's right. Last year in Santa Monica, the arrest rate went up by 23%. And of all the arrests last year, 72% were homeless human beings. And many of them for just being homeless. I have friends that have been given citations for smoking in public, for having open containers in public, for sleeping in public, for being, one of my friends was over in, when it got cold, he was over in one of the parking structures. They actually arrested him and took him to jail. You know how sad that is, that some people think jail is an option for homelessness? Oh, well, at least they're not sleeping in the streets. How cruel and inhumane are people to think that jail is an option for housing and homelessness? We actually have a governor, Governor Gavin Newsom, who said the unsheltered population of California has gone down by 9% this last year. You know where they were? They were in jails and prison. That's where they got sheltered, Gavin Newsom. That's right. Instead of you building affordable housing, you're putting more people in jail because you stood with Trump's ultra-conservative Supreme Court in Grants Pass versus Johnson. He actually said to the Supreme Court, please help me. I need more help to criminalize homelessness so I can clean up our streets. And that's exactly what they did. You know the arrest record the arrests in San Francisco last year after the Grants Pass versus Johnson ruling, the arrests went up for homeless people by 500%. That's right. They just gathered up as many homeless people as they could, put them in jail. Oh, now they got a place to live. Ain't that good? No, it's not good. It's inhumane. It's cruel. Here in Los Angeles, the arrests of homeless human beings in 2025 went up by 68%. And as I said, of all of the arrests here in Santa Monica last year, 72% of them were homeless human beings. Now, I don't know what each person was arrested for here in Santa Monica, because they won't give me those figures. I had a hard enough time just getting the figures of how many arrests were made last year and how many of those arrests were of homeless human beings. But a lot of these people want to criminalize homelessness. They want to say that these homeless human beings are all criminals. They're all violent criminals. They ought to be in jail or in prison. No. Many of these homeless human beings are just looking for a decent place to sleep, a safe place to sleep. You know, the life expectancy in the United States of America is 79 years old. But if you're living on the streets, the life expectancy for you is around 50 years old. Just by having housing for these human beings, we would be raising the life expectancy by many, many years. So we need to stand up for the rights of everybody to have a decent place to live, food to eat, health care, and a good public education. That ain't too much to ask in this richest, most powerful country in the world. See the people living in the street, ain't got no money, ain't much to eat. They're not too proud to take your crust of bread, just looking for some place to lay their weary heads. What's the problem that brought them here? The story's long and it isn't very clear. So many roads lead to the street, just looking for some place to lay their tired feet. All these homeless people living in a ditch with all these empty buildings and tax cuts for the rich. I ain't saying you have to give, but everybody has got a right to live, and they're just looking for somewhere to lay their weary heads. That's right, they're just looking for somewhere to lay their weary heads. You know, there are people out there that care more about people's pets than human beings. Right now, they're trying to brush homeless people they're trying to paint them as animal abusers. You know, some of these homeless human beings have companions. They have dogs or cats or something like that. And a lot of people say, oh, look at the poor animal. Why should they be able to keep animals? They shouldn't be able to keep animals. They're homeless. They can't take care of those animals correctly. A lot of people are more concerned about how these homeless people take care of their animals than making sure that those homeless people have a decent place to live. That's just a shame. That's a shame, California.
A lot of those animals are rescues.
A lot of those animals are rescues.
Rescues. They'd be dead.
And they'd be dead if they weren't with the homeless people. That's what you're telling me. Yeah? Okay.
Take care of their dogs.
They do. A lot of homeless people take as good care of them as they can, living out on the streets, huh? Now, some people say they're abusing these animals. No, they're trying to survive themselves, and we need to stand up for their rights to survive. And if you're more concerned about their animals than you are about human beings, I'm sorry for you. I am. because that's not what we're about here in the United States of America. The United States of America, we have to stand up for human rights above all. That's right. We have to make that our most important goal, is to stand up for human rights. That's what our Constitution is about. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution.
Right.
Now, and at the time,
those dogs' options are to either be homeless with a homeless person taking care of them, or to be put to death.
see, that's what my friend Jesse here, he says those dogs' options are either to be with that homeless person or probably to be put to death. So a lot of these homeless people that have dogs,
They take care of them.
they take care of them. But my point is, and thank you for that, but we need to think more about the human beings than some people think about their pets. And I'm sorry, that's what we're about here in the United States of America. And we need to keep standing up for the rights of these people, these humans. And we need to keep working to make that Constitution, the beginning of that Constitution, work better for everybody. Because when that Constitution was written, it only benefited rich white guys who owned property. That's how it was. Back in 1987, when the Constitution was ratified, it only benefited rich white guys who owned property. Since then, there have been people working to make sure that it is more inclusive, that more people can benefit from our Constitution. We overcame slavery in this country. We overcame the fact that human beings were being owned by other people. And we need to keep standing up for their rights, everybody's rights who have been abused. We overcame child labor. In 1900, we made sure that children didn't have to work in factories and on farms all day, that they could have an education, they could have a childhood. In 1920, we made sure that women had the right to vote. That's right. Before 1920, women couldn't even vote in this country. And not until 1924 were Native Americans given the right to vote in this country. That's right. It wasn't until 1924 that we had laws that made sure wherever you were in the United States, if you were a Native American, you could vote and be a citizen. In the 1960s, we passed the Civil Rights laws, the Voting Rights Act.
Okay, man.
All right, Jesse, good to see you. And then in 1990, we passed the Americans with Disabilities Act, making sure that people with disabilities, whether it was physical or mental, that everybody had the same rights in this country. And we need to stand up for those people. We need to stand up for everybody's rights in this country and keep speaking out for the rights of people, even if they're poor and homeless. They have the same rights as everybody else. All these homeless people living in a ditch with all these empty buildings and tax cards for the rich. I ain't saying you have to give, but everybody has got a right to live, and they're just looking for somewhere, looking for somewhere. Thank you, Ethan. Looking for somewhere to lay their weary heads. Sweep them out your doorway, tear down their tents. Gonna keep on coming if you keep on raising rents. I ain't saying you have to do good, but why don't you try letting the homeless people move in to your neighborhood, Santa Monica? Looking for somewhere, looking for somewhere, looking for somewhere to lay their weary heads. That's right. Santa Monica, you have not done a great job. There might have been a time when Santa Monica was leading the way in rent control and other things. But over the last few generations, Santa Monica has just made it harder and harder for homeless human beings. And now they're criminalizing homelessness, they're sending more people to jail than they're housing people here in Santa Monica. And that is a shame. Tonight in Santa Monica, if you want to find a shelter bed, you're not going to find a shelter bed tonight in Santa Monica. If you don't already have a shelter bed right now, there are only 205 shelter beds in Santa Monica. And if you don't have one, if you weren't referred there, you're not going to get a shelter bed tonight in Santa Monica. Every time I go to pick up my mail over at the People Concern on Olympic over there, because I am homeless also, I have friends I can stay with, so I got it easier than a lot of these homeless people. And that's the way it is for me right now. And I'm thankful, but I want to make sure that everybody can have the basics. So when I pick up my mail over at the People Concern, I say, do you have any shelter beds available in Santa Monica tonight? And every time they say, there are no shelter beds available in Santa Monica. We don't have any available shelter beds, but they are sending homeless people to jail. We know that much. So, Santa Monica, you need to be part of the solution and not part of the problem. Sweep them out your doorway, tear down their tents. Gonna keep on coming if you keep on raising rents. I ain't saying you have to do good, but why don't you try letting the homeless people move in to your neighborhood, Santa Monica? Looking for somewhere, looking for somewhere, looking for somewhere to lay their weary heads. And that's why we need to tell our leaders to get behind the Great Park and Community Housing Initiative. The Great Park and Community Housing Initiative. That's right, here in Santa Monica. The Great Park and Community Housing Initiative. There's something that is going to be on the ballot here in November here in Santa Monica. It's an initiative to use 25% of the airport property, the Santa Monica airport property. Use 25% of that airport property to build affordable housing. 3,000 units of affordable housing, that's right. That would still leave 148 acres of land for a great park. I think that's a pretty good great park, 148 acres. You don't need all 192 acres to have a great park. And think, if you could build 3,000 units of affordable housing here in Santa Monica, that would be a huge step in the right direction. That would be wonderful for a lot of people, a lot of first responders, a lot of teachers, a lot of healthcare workers, a lot of transportation service workers, a lot of city employees, a lot of employees that work in the city of Santa Monica that have to travel one or 2 hours a day to get to work. We need to stand up for the Great Park and Community Housing Initiative. The Great Park and Community Housing Initiative of Santa Monica, California. That's right. Tell your friends about it. And let's get that thing passed. We can do it. I will be collecting signatures for the ballot measure. And I hope if you're a Santa Monica resident, you will sign that petition to get that on the ballot. And then we all get together and vote yes on it, and we can move Santa Monica forward. Instead of criminalizing homelessness, we can start being part of the solution of building affordable housing. Because last year, in this last planning cycle, this last housing elements cycle, from 2022 to 2029, they were going to build 6,500 units of affordable housing. They've built about 200 units of affordable housing so far. And we're already in the middle of 2026. So I guess you can see that's not much accomplishment. And on the other hand, they've built about 200% of what they planned for above market income housing. For luxury housing, they've been building plenty here in Santa Monica, but not affordable housing. And that's what's needed if you want to integrate this city and if you want to keep moving forward. That's what I'm saying. Peace. You guys have a great night. Sweep them out your doorway, tear down their tents. Gonna keep on coming if you keep on raising rents. I ain't saying you have to do good, but why don't you try letting homeless people move in to your neighborhood, Santa Monica? Looking for somewhere to lay their weary heads. Don't need your swimming pool, don't need your king-size bed. Just looking for somewhere to lay their weary head. Hey, hey. That's right, they're just looking for somewhere to lay their weary heads. And we could help them. We can make sure that everybody who needs a place to live has one in this richest, most powerful country in the world. In this fourth largest economy of the world, California. In this very wealthy city of Santa Monica. And we can make it easier. We can make it easier for people while we're in this housing crisis, make it easier for people to survive. We could have more 24-hour restrooms for homeless human beings or everybody, 24-hour secure restrooms, and make sure that homeless people have a place to go and shower and shave. You know, they can't shave in these public restrooms without being harassed. No grooming. You can't groom in the public restrooms. No grooming. It's really a shame. They're just trying to keep themselves clean and keep themselves going, but they get harassed every which way. They get harassed for sleeping, for trying to sleep. They get harassed for trying to eat. I mean, they've been arresting people for going through garbage cans. They've been arresting people for going through public garbage cans where the only thing in there is probably going to be food or drinks. And they've arrested people for doing just that. And it's a shame. We can do better. How you doing? Doing all right? Well, you have a good night. That's right. We need to keep moving forward, keep standing up for human rights, and get behind the Great Park and Community Housing Initiative right here in Santa Monica. Build some affordable housing in Santa Monica. That's right, 3,000 units of affordable housing. We can make a better day. We can make sure that everybody has the basics in this richest, most powerful country in the world. There's no reason for poor people to be sleeping in the streets while rich people are having space races. Oh, I'd rather be a bum than a billionaire. I'd rather sit around in my underwear than screw the poor and pollute the air. I'd rather be a bum than a billionaire. California Billionaire Tax Act of 2026. That's right, California Billionaire Tax Act of 2026. We all need to get behind that. Tomorrow, when you watch the gubernatorial debates, make sure that those candidates for governor get behind the Billionaire Tax Act of 2026 right here in California. We can show that California can make a difference and stand up for the rights of human beings. Get behind the Billionaire Tax Act of 2026, I say. Get behind the Billionaire Tax Act of 2026. Oh, get behind the Billionaire Tax Act of 2026 right here in California. We don't have to wait for Trump or the federal government to raise taxes on the rich. We can do it right here. I'd rather be a bum than a billionaire. I'd rather sit around in my underwear than screw the poor and pollute the air. I'd rather be a bum than a billionaire. I'd rather be a bum than a billionaire. I'd rather live outside in the open air than try to keep sick people from getting health care. I'd rather be a bum than a billionaire. Oh, mama, I don't want to make you sad. Oh, mama, but being poor just ain't that bad. No, it ain't. Oh, mama, I don't want to make you cry. Oh, mama, rich or poor, we're all gonna die. That's what they say. I'd rather be poor than be filthy rich. I'd rather live in a box in the bottom of a ditch than be some stealing, cheating, lying son of a bitch. Rather be poor than be filthy rich. I'd rather be poor than be filthy rich. I'd rather walk around without a stitch than be some warmongering son of a bitch. I'd rather be poor than be filthy rich. One more time. Let's try this one more time. Rather be poor than be filthy rich. I'd rather walk around without a stitch than be some democracy overthrowing son of a bitch. I'd rather be poor than be filthy rich. Oh, mama, I don't want to make you sad. Oh, mama, but being poor just ain't that bad. No, it ain't. Oh, mama, I don't want to make you cry. Oh, mama, rich or poor, we're all gonna say goodbye someday. Hopefully not today, not tonight. I got plans. Now, I don't want you to think that I think all billionaires are evil. Bloodsuckers. Some of them are just sick. They're like hoarders or alcoholics or drug addicts. They get a little bit of money and they just got to get more and more and more and more. More and more and more and more and more. More and more and more and more and more and more. Let's look at Elon Musk. They say he's going to be our first trillionaire. That's the last thing we need in this country is a trillionaire. What we need to do is raise taxes on Elon Musk and all of his billionaire buddies. But you say, hey, we can't do that because Trump's in power. Well, we can right here in California. We can all get behind the Billionaire Tax Act of 2026 right here in California and raise taxes on the California billionaires. A 5% wealth tax that will go to healthcare, education, and food programs. So we need to get behind that Billionaire Tax Act of 2026. 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 Blah, 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 blah. Now, can I articulate that a little better? I think I can. The Billionaire Tax Act of 2026, Billionaire Tax Act of 2026, Billionaire Tax Act of 2026. That's right, we can do it right here in California. We can raise taxes on the billionaires here in California and make sure that everybody in California can have a decent place to live. That might be another program, but we can raise taxes on the billionaires and make sure that everybody in California can have good quality health care. And we can raise taxes on the rich and make sure that everybody in California can have a good public education. That's right. So we just raise taxes on the rich here in California and make sure that everybody can have food to eat. Now that ain't too much to ask, is it? Not in this fourth largest economy of the whole wide world, California. We can do it. So we all need to get behind and endorse and vote for the Billionaire Tax Act of 2026, California's Billionaire Tax Act of 2026. Billionaires Tax Act of 2026, California's got a Billionaire Tax Act for 2026. Now some people say, I'm for raising taxes on the billionaires, but this isn't the right billionaire tax. Oh, you got a better Billionaire Tax Act out there waiting to be signed? No, I don't think so. So you better get behind this Billionaire Tax Act of 2026 and make sure that we show that progressive government can make a difference in people's lives right here in California. Oh, I'd rather be a bum than a billionaire. I'd rather live outside in the open air than try to keep sick people from getting health care. I'd rather be a bum than a billionaire. I'd rather be a bum than a billionaire. I'd rather walk around with greasy hair than sell guns and weapons everywhere. I'd rather be a bum than a billionaire. I'd rather be a bum than a billionaire. I'd rather walk around in the Bear than see homeless people everywhere. I'd rather be a bum than a billionaire. Rather be a bum than a billionaire. Hoo, hoo. And I'll keep on working at it. That's right. We've done a very good job of being kind to the greedy in this country. We have to do a better job of being kind to the needy. That's why here in California, we need to get behind the Billionaire Tax Act of 2026. And here in Santa Monica, we need to get behind and endorse the Great Park and Community Housing Initiative in Santa Monica. Build 3,000 units of affordable housing right here in Santa Monica. That would be fantastic. That'd be a huge step in the right direction. Instead of criminalizing homelessness, we can help find a solution to homelessness by building enough affordable housing. I see way too many people blaming the poor for being poor and the homeless for being homeless when it's bad policies for generations that have kept the poor poor and the homeless homeless. That's right, cities like Santa Monica have been pushing poor people down the road for generations. They've been saying, hey, this is ours. We don't want our property values to go down, so all you poor people move out. And when you push the poor people out of your city, you're going to push a lot of people of color out of your city, because that's the way it is in the United States of America. So we need to keep building affordable housing here in Santa Monica so that we can keep integrating our society. There's no reason. We have 800 miles of public beaches here in California and mostly rich white people living next to those public beaches. Why is that? That ain't the way it has to be. That's just plain greed. That's letting the greedy people take over. We need to build affordable housing in all of these coastal communities along our Pacific coast, right next to the ocean. Because if you believe the climate scientists, which a lot of people do, they make some sense. It's been getting warmer in a lot of places. If you believe it's going to keep getting warmer, we need to build more housing right next to the ocean, because that is going to be a more temperate climate, and it's going to be better air quality for human beings. Ethan Hyatt, good to see you. Thank you. You have a good night. Peace. So we need to tell our leaders right here in California, build more affordable housing right along the coastline. I don't know if you've driven up the coast, but there's a lot of beautiful hills that could have a lot more housing. There's a lot of places all along our Pacific coast that could have a lot more housing. And if you're serious about wanting to help human beings survive this climate crisis, then we need to have more human beings living next to our coast. Because when you're talking about environmental things, you're talking about environment for human beings first, or at least that's what I'm talking about, because that's what our Constitution is about. It's about standing up for the rights of human beings, and not just the rich and the powerful human beings. It's about standing up for the rights of everybody. Making sure that we can all have the basics in this richest, most powerful country in the whole wide world. No reason for rich people to be having space races while poor people sleep in the streets. We can do better than that. Oh, what the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. We don't need another mountain. There are mountains and hillsides enough to climb. There are oceans and rivers enough to cross, enough to last till the end of time. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. We don't need another meadow. There are cornfields and wheat fields enough to grow. There are sunbeams and moonbeams enough to shine. So listen, Lord, if you want to know what the world needs now is love, sweet love. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. What the world needs now is love. That's right. We just need to spread the love around a little better. We've done a very good job of being kind to the greedy in this country. We have to do a better job of being kind to the needy. It's pretty simple. You know, we have a president who said he wants to increase the military budget by 40%, but we don't have any money for daycare. And we don't have any money for health care or housing. We're too poor a country to do all that. That's a shame. We need to show that there's a difference between that kind of thinking and progressive government here in California. That's why here in California, we need to tell our leaders to get behind the Billionaire Tax Act of 2026 right here in California. That's right, the Billionaire Tax Act of 2026. Huh?
They gotta tax them billionaires.
They got to tax them billionaires. That's right. A 5% wealth tax. Get behind the Billionaire Tax Act of 2026. Billionaire Tax Act of 2026. Right here in California, we can show that progressive government can make a difference in people's lives and that we can help lift people out of poverty. Because we got too many people just spreading hate and not caring about poor people and homeless people. They think they don't deserve it because they're poor and homeless. You know, there's a lot of people who would rather spread hate in this country than spread peace and love and work towards making sure that everybody can have the basics. There are people who want to blame the poor. I know people who want to blame the poor for all of our problems. These business owners here on the promenade, they want to blame the poor for bad business. It's bad business because the homeless people. And instead of housing the homeless people, they just want to make it harder for them to live. You know, they tore down this parking structure over here on 4th Street years ago. They've been talking about building 122 unit affordable housing complex over there since 2018. So they tore down this parking structure that was in need of work, in need of upkeep. And they tore down that parking structure and they proposed an idea to build 122 units of affordable housing there. But all these business owners here on this promenade, they said, no, we can't have more poor people living next to our businesses. It's bad for business. They sued the city of Santa Monica. So when people say to me, what about the business owners on the promenade? What about them? What about standing up for their rights? You know, they try to trample the rights of homeless human beings. And if you're trampling human rights, I can't really get along with you. I can't stand and watch and say, yay. No, these business owners sued over building affordable housing right over here on 4th Street. And you know what they have over there on 4th Street instead of that 122 units of affordable housing? They have pickleball courts. Pickleball for the poor, because homeless people don't need a front door, they need pickleball. Pickleball for the poor. Pickleball for the poor. Poor folks don't need no more than pickleball. Pickleball for the poor. Oh, we're not going to let them play, but they can watch from far away and dream about that happy day when they can earn enough to play. When they can earn enough to pay to play. Pickleball! Yeah, I'm not a fan of pickleball anymore. Hey, if they just use public spaces to promote pickleball, that'd be fine. But they're putting it everywhere. They're privatizing it. It's just, as old people's tennis is what we used to call it. And now that they're using this affordable housing property to play pickleball and sell their pickleball rackets, I really don't like pickleball. Pickleball for the poor, because homeless people don't need a front door, they need pickleball. Pickleball for the poor. Pickleball for the poor. Poor folks don't need no more than pickleball. Pickleball for the poor. Oh, we're not going to let them play, but they can watch from far away and dream about that happy day when they can earn enough to pay to play pickleball. Oh, pickleball, that's the best thing that could happen to the homeless human beings. Pickleball. Yeah, there's some people who just would rather promote making money and business than making sure that human beings can survive and thrive and survive. You know, I posted a few songs because, you know, every day in this country we have another mass shooting somewhere in the country. And I've written some songs about some common sense gun laws. And I tell you, these people love their guns more than any human being. They love their guns, and anybody who wants to talk about common sense gun laws, they just want to shout them down and spread hate about people. If anybody wants to talk about common sense gun laws, talk about universal background checks, I think that'd be a nice start. Make sure that everybody who has a gun has a universal background check, and make sure that they're probably not trying to kill somebody right away with it. How about that? Maybe a little waiting period for the gun to make sure that they are not on their way to kill somebody right after they buy the gun. Maybe we outlaw some of these weapons of war that are on our streets. And maybe we make sure that people with a domestic violence problem or a mental disability that is causing them criminal ideas, maybe we make sure that they don't get a gun. I think we can do things to make sure that not everybody in the United States has a gun, but there are some people who just don't want to pass any common sense gun laws. You know, this isn't new to the United States of America. Back in 1936, they passed Gun Control Act, and they outlawed things like sawed-off shotguns and gadget guns like cane guns and briefcase guns, all sorts of other things. We don't let people run around the streets with machine guns, do we? We don't let people run around the streets with grenade launchers and rocket launchers. We have some common sense gun laws already in place. And obviously, if we're having a mass shooting every day in this country, we need to put more common sense gun laws in place. That's right, common sense gun laws. And if you're the kind of person who can put images like this of you shooting somebody because you don't like what they say about common sense gun laws, you better check yourself. Because we all need to stand up for human rights, and I think standing up for common sense gun laws is a simple step in the right direction. Have you killed a gun today? Have you sent a gun away? Have you helped to solve a crime before it's done? Now, you know, if you're a responsible gun owner who wants to use your gun for protection and to help people, nobody wants to take your gun away. But if you're out there with your semi-automatic machine guns trying to plan for the Armageddon and making sure that you're making sure that all of your neighbors are living in terror, if you're doing that, maybe somebody should take some of your guns away. We don't need private individuals with arsenals that could battle an army. We need to bring some common sense gun laws to the USA. Have you killed a gun today? Have you sent a gun away? Have you helped to solve a crime before it's done? See, the gun won't even mind. It's not part of humankind. Everyone should kill a gun. Everyone should kill a gun. Have you killed a gun today? Have you put a gun away? Have you ended it before its deadly run? See, the gun won't even mind. It's not part of humankind. Everyone should kill a gun. Everyone should kill a gun today. There's more guns than people in the US of A. Guns don't feel, they don't bleed, they don't cry. Everyone should kill a gun. Everyone should kill a gun. Now you know I'm not a fool. I know guns are just a tool, but these deadly tools have been ruling us too long. We're in the middle of a war. The enemy's inside our door. Everyone should kill a gun. Everyone should kill a gun today. It really pisses off the NRA. Guns don't feel, they don't bleed, they don't cry. Everyone should kill a gun. Everyone should kill a gun today. There's more guns than people in the US of A. Guns don't feel, they don't laugh, they don't love. Everyone should kill a gun. That's right. Tell your leaders we need common sense gun laws right here in the United States of America, right here in California. Think peace. That's right. Keep speaking out and get behind the Billionaire Tax Act of 2026 right here in California. We all need to get involved. We all need to speak out against hatred and racism whenever we hear it, whenever we see it. Yeah. And we need to stand up for peace, peaceful protest. Don't promote or endorse or cheer on any of these assassins or people that would use violence to get political points across. We need more people to peacefully protest, to get out in the streets and speak out and stand up against violence and hatred. We need to keep debating, keep talking, keep sharing. Stand up and shout down racism and hatred whenever you see it, whenever you hear it. But stand up against violence. And we need to stand for the rights of these people who have been used for their labor for generations and not been given their rights here in the United States of America. We have about 5% of our population, about 20 million or more Americans living in the shadows because they haven't been given a pathway to citizenship. They've been living here, many of them for generations, being used for their labor and not being given their rights. And we need to stand up for their rights to have a pathway to citizenship, because we know that this didn't happen overnight. This is a failure of our government over generations in letting people use undocumented labor and not giving those people their rights, not giving those workers their rights, not giving them a pathway to citizenship. We want to stand up for everybody's rights in this country to be able to participate in our democracy. We don't want to be one of those countries like the United Arab Emirates or Saudi Arabia or one of those places that use all of their labor from outside of their country. 80% of their labor comes from outside of their country, and they don't give those people the same rights as their citizens, even if their citizens don't have the best rights in the world. We want our citizens, we want our people here in the United States to be able to participate in our democracy, to be able to vote and speak out and peacefully protest without being worried about deportation. So we need to find a pathway to citizenship for these tens of millions of people that have been used for their labor and not been given their rights. And also stand up stand up for human rights. Para bailar la bamba, para bailar la bamba se necesita una poca de gracia. Una poca de gracia para mi partida, arriba, arriba. Ay, arriba, arriba, por ti seré, por ti seré, por ti seré. Bamba, 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 bamba. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Islands, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters, let's make sure this land is made for you and me. Para bailar la bamba, se necesita una poca de gracia, una poca de gracia para mi partida, arriba, arriba. Ay, arriba, arriba, por ti seré, por ti seré, por ti seré. Bamba, bamba. Bamba, bamba. No soy marinero, no soy marinero, soy capitán, soy capitán, soy capitán. Bamba, 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 bamba. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Islands, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters, let's make sure this land is made for you and me. Para bailar la bamba, se necesita una poca de gracia para mi partida, arriba, arriba. Ay, arriba, arriba, por ti seré, por ti seré, por ti seré. Bamba, 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 bamba. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Islands, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters, let's make sure this land is made for you and me. Let's make sure this land is made for you and me. Let's make sure this land is made for you and me. Woo! That's right, we got to keep working at it. Get involved, use your voices, use your votes. Don't settle for things the way they are. Don't settle for rich people running everything right here in Santa Monica. Don't settle for the rich people running things in California or in the US of A. Get out there and participate. That's why I am going to run for Santa Monica City Council again this year, because I want to stand up and show that poor people can participate. I'm not going to use any money in my campaign except my own, if I have some, and I might have a little to buy some posters or something, I don't know. But I'm not going to use any donations. Any donations given to me will be given to the homeless, just like I always do. Because I'm old and I am on Social Security, so I can survive. And I have friends I can stay with for now. And that's very, very kind of my friends. But, you know, I am on a list. I am on a list of low-income seniors, homeless seniors here in Santa Monica. So, you know, I'll probably be getting housing any day now. Well, it's probably how it's going to work. No, it's probably going to, we'll see. Might be years, might never happen. But I sure would like to see Santa. I want to be at the end of the list. I'm not trying to push myself in front of anybody. I want to see the other people that have been on that list for a while, that they get some affordable housing. If you're a low-income senior and you need a place to live, I think those are definitely people we need to be building housing for. Seniors, elderly people like myself, I'm 66 years old. Elderly people like myself are the fastest growing part of the homeless population. That's right. Seniors are the fastest growing demographic of the homeless population. That's a shame, California. That's a shame, USA. Shame, Santa Monica. That's why we all need to get behind the Great Park and Community Housing Initiative. The Great Park and Community Housing Initiative of Santa Monica. The Great Park and Community Housing Initiative of Santa Monica. That's right. That Great Park and Community Housing Initiative wants to build 3,000 units of low-income, affordable housing for people who need housing here in Santa Monica. First responders, people that are people that work in the firefighters, police, teachers, healthcare workers, employees on this promenade, employees around Santa Monica City workers. The Great Park and Community Housing Initiative of Santa Monica. The Great Park and Community Housing Initiative. That's what it's about. The Great Park and Santa Monica Housing. The Great Park and Community Housing Initiative of Santa Monica. Build 3,000 units of affordable housing on the airport property. Yeah, you see the airport. The Santa Monica Airport will be turned over to the city of Santa Monica in 2028. And some people, it was voted to be a great park in 2028. In 2014, they had a little vote saying that's what they wanted to use that for. But right now, we're in a housing crisis. Here in Santa Monica, you're arresting more people than you're housing. How's that? Arresting more homeless people for being homeless than you are housing homeless people. How's that? That's a shame, Santa Monica. The Great Park and Community Housing Initiative of Santa Monica. The Great Park and Community Housing Initiative of 2026. They want to build 3,000 units of affordable housing on 25% of that airport property. The Great Park and Community Housing Initiative of 2026 here in Santa Monica. That's right. Let's all get behind it. Tell everybody who's going to run for Santa Monica City Council this year, you better get behind that The Great Park and Community Housing Initiative of 2026 here in Santa Monica. You better get behind that or we can't vote for you. It's just that simple. We got to make a difference. We got to change things. We got to step up. We got to show that we believe in human rights. That's right. And if you're going to use 192 acres of land just for a great park, while you're in a housing crisis, a homelessness crisis, that is just plain selfish. That is just plain greed, especially as we need to build more and more housing next to our oceans as the climate crisis continues. We got to stand up for human beings' rights. It's astounding. Time is fleeting. Madness takes its toll, but listen closely. Not for very much longer. I've got to keep control. I remember during the time warp, drinking those moments when the blackness would hit me and the void would be calling. Let's do time warp again. Let's do the time warp again. It's just a jump to the left and a step to the right with your hands on your hips. Bring your knees in tight, but his pelvic thrust really drives you insane. Let's do the time warp again. Let's do the time warp again. It's so dreamy, oh fantasy free me. You can't see me, no not at all. In another dimension, with voyeuristic intentions, well secluded. I'll see all with a bit of a mind flip. You're into a time slip, and nothing will ever be the same. Spaced out on sensation, like you're under sedation. Let's do the time warp again. Let's do the time warp again. Just jump to the left and a step to the right with your hands on your hips. Bring your knees in tight, but his pelvic thrust really drives you insane. Let's do the time warp again. Let's do the time warp again. Well, I was running down the street just having a think when a snake like guy gave me an evil wink. Shook me up, he took me by surprise. He had a pickup truck and the devil's eyes stared at me and I felt a change. Time meant nothing, never would again. Let's do the time warp again. Let's do the time warp again. Just jump to the left and a step to the right with your hands on your hips. Bring your knees in tight, but his pelvic thrust really drives you insane. Let's do the time warp again. Let's do the time warp again. Let's do the time warp again. You know, we got to keep standing up for equal rights, equal justice, equal opportunity for all, housing the homeless, common sense gun laws, good public education, making sure that everybody has enough to eat, decent place to live. And we got to have a little fun, too. Excuse me, but don't take it seriously. I thought there was a party going on. And there was dancing and singing, a ring of the bells, and lovers rolling around on the lawn. But then I woke up, and what did I see? A bunch of sad sack faces all staring at me, saying, get to work, boy, ain't nothing for free. Hey, where's my party going on? Excuse me, but don't take it seriously. I thought there was a party right round here. And there was jumping and bumping and playing guitars and people drinking lots of beer. But then I came to, and what did I see? A bunch of sad sack faces all staring at me, saying, we ain't having no fun, boy, why should you be? Hey, where's my party going on? Sometimes I think maybe they're alright. I should work all day and sleep all night. But I get so tired right round the morning light. Excuse me, but don't take it seriously. I thought there was a party going on. And there was dancing and acting the fool and everybody going till dawn. But then a bright light flashed. And what did I see? A big old dude with a badge shining his light down on me saying, the party's over, boy, someplace you want to be. Hey, where's my party going on? Sometimes I think maybe they're all right. I should work all day and sleep all night. But I get so tired right round the morning light. Excuse me, but don't take it seriously. I thought there was a party going on. and there was dancing and singing and ringing the bells and everybody going down. But then I walked through the fog, and what did I see? A big old bony-fingered dude pointing down at me. Said, "The party's over, boy. Time to come with me." Hey, where's my party going on? I said, "The party's over. Now time to come with me." Hey, where's my party going on? I said, "The party's over. Now time to come with me." Hey, where's my party going on? That's right, you gotta have a little fun now and again, you know what I mean? You gotta have a little fun while we're working towards a better day. Because we don't want to get lost in the sea of despair. You know, sometimes I get a little uptight. I get tired of telling people, listen, we gotta do something to help these human beings that are being treated poorly. I get it, you know. And I forget, gotta enjoy the journey. Gotta enjoy the journey that's once upon a time, a girl with moonlight in her eyes held her hand in mine and said she loved me so. But that was once upon a time, very long ago. Once upon a hill we sat beneath a willow tree, counting all the stars and waiting for the dawn. But that was once upon a time, now that tree is gone. How the leaves rustled through her hair, how we laughed as though tomorrow wouldn't care. We were young and didn't have a care. Where did it go? Once upon a time, the world was sweeter than we knew. Everything was ours, how happy we were then. But somehow, once upon a time, never comes again. How we laughed as though tomorrow wasn't there. We were young and never had a care. Where did it go? Once upon a time, the world was sweeter than we knew. Everything was ours, how happy we were then. But somehow, once upon a time, never comes again. Just a few more. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me. Speaking words of wisdom, let it be. In my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me. Speaking words of wisdom, let it be. 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 Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. 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 Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. When the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. And though they may be parted, there is still a chance that they will see. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Though the night is cloudy, there is still a light that shines on me. Shine until tomorrow, let it be. I wake up to the sound of music. Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Do not get lost in the sea of despair. Be hopeful, be optimistic. Our struggle is not the struggle of a day, of a week, or a month, or a year. Our struggle is the struggle of a lifetime. Never ever be afraid to make some noise, to get in some good trouble, some necessary trouble. And of course, that was John Lewis talking about peaceful protest, because that's what they were about. That's what he was about with Martin Luther King Jr., and they made great changes in this country, and we need to stand up for peaceful protest. Thank you. I'll be sharing that with the homeless. Thank you. Peace. And don't get lost in the sea of despair. We need to keep working for equal rights, equal justice, equal opportunity for all. We haven't gotten there yet. I hope you all watch the gubernatorial debate tomorrow. Watch the debate for the governor's candidates tomorrow, the candidates for governor tomorrow. And let's make sure that we tell them, if you want our vote, you better get behind the Billionaire Tax Act of 2026 right here in California. Raise taxes on the rich here in California. If we can't do it in the White House, we need to do it right here in California, because we're the fourth largest economy of the whole wide world. We don't have to wait for the White House. We can do it right here in California. The Billionaire Tax Act of 2026 in California. So tell those governors, those candidates for governor, to get behind that tax act, or we're not going to vote for them. And keep speaking out, keep getting involved, keep standing up for equal rights, equal justice, equal opportunity for all, housing the homeless, common sense gun laws, good public education. We can do great things in this country. They have been done before. Keep on getting up. Anything you want to say tonight, Joey? Anything you would like to say to the people tonight? Anything you would like to say tonight?
Sure.
You'd like to say something?
Are you gonna end it now?
Yeah.
Oh,
This is Joey Cisneros.
yeah. Don't give up.
All right. Well, thank you. I'll play a song about that right now. Thank you. Keep on getting up. Keep on speaking out. Keep on singing. Peace and love is what it's all about. And dream of a better day. Oh, we ain't there yet, but you know we're on our way. Don't get lost in the sea of despair. Be hopeful, be optimistic. You know, someday we'll get there and dream of a better day. Oh, we ain't there yet, but you know we're on our way. And dream of a better day. Oh, we ain't there yet, but you know we're on our way. Keep on lifting up. Keep on, lend a helping hand. We can't solve every problem, but we can try to understand. And dream of a better day. Oh, we ain't there yet, but you know we're on our way. Don't get lost in the sea of despair. No! Be hopeful, be optimistic, and someday we'll get there. And dream of a better day. Oh, we ain't there yet, but you know we're on our way. And dream of a better day. Oh, we ain't there yet, but you know we're on our way. And dream of a better day. Oh, we ain't there yet, but you know we're on our way. Peace and love.